Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Brews with Brian, a craft beer review podcast. Craft beer is beer that is brewed in smaller breweries, not these big corporate machine breweries that we're all aware of. Craft beer takes time and patience, and the people that brew this stuff care about the product they're delivering to us. On this week's show, I'm reviewing T- from Yellowhammer Brewing, Cave City Lager from Old Black Bear Brewing, and Snipe IPA from Folklore Brewing. Now, you can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. So don't forget to like and share and tell your friends. And it's a special episode because today is my birthday. So if you follow us on social media, just send me a happy birthday message and let me know that you listen. But let's kick this show off. And first up on today's show, we have T- from Yellowhammer Brewing out of Huntsville, Alabama. T- has an ABV of 5% and a rotating availability. The description from the website says, T- is inspired by the famous powdered orange drink sent to space with America's first astronauts. Notes of tangerine brighten the palate and pair wonderfully with the clean finish of the German-style Kolsch. This beer pours slightly hazy, light yellow in color with a nice white cap of foam, mild aroma of tangerine, and a mild grain base. The flavor is bolder than the aroma is. Tangerine is apparent, but not overly so. Rather, it's a bit sharp like citrus zest or essential oils that doesn't come across as sweet like tangerine flesh or even tart for that matter. If you like tangerines, and I do, this beer works really well. It's very light-bodied with balanced carbonation. Overall, it makes a good impression as a undemanding summertime brew with more going on for it than the usual light lager. This is one of the first craft beers I ever had, and I fell in love with it. It's one of my favorite beers of all time, something light, refreshing, perfect for the summertime by the pool. So you gotta try it. And this is from Yellowhammer in Huntsville, Alabama, which is pretty close to where I live, so I can get this anytime it's out. But overall, I'm gonna give T- from Yellowhammer Brewing 5 stars. And next up on this week's show, we have Cave City Lager from Old Black Bear Brewing Company out of Madison, Alabama. Cave City Lager has an ABV of 5.2% and a year-round availability. The description from the website says, a German Dunkel-inspired American amber lager with a signature hop aroma. This lager combines mostly Munich malt with the addition of gently balanced caramelized malts, giving it a rich copper color, as well as a bit more malt backbone and overall character than the typical amber lager. The complex combination of noble hops enables our lager to be paired with a wide variety of food items, and its clean lager finish creates a beer that will really hit the spot on those hot summer afternoons. The beer pours crystal clear, deep amber in color, one finger of khaki head that receded to a nice thin collar. It's got very little lacing left on the glass. Aromas of molasses with coffee in the background. Tasting this beer, you get the caramel, coffee, a hint of nutmeg, very mild bitterness on the finish. It's got a medium-bodied, moderate carbonation, and lightly dry finish. But this beer is a very odd beer to me. It's very drinkable, but nothing about it made me think amber lager. It was inspired by a German Dunkel, and I didn't get that connection either. Not a lot of hop presence, as it says in the description. So, I mean, try it just to say you have, but, not one of my favorite beers I've ever had. So, Overall, I'm going to give Cave City Lager from Old Black Bear Brewing Company 3 stars. And the last beer on this week's show is Snipe Hunt IPA from Folklore Brewing and Meadery out of Dothan, Alabama. Snipe Hunt IPA has an ABV of 7.5% and a rotating availability. The description from the website says an India Pale Ale with German and West Coast influence, brewed to be a complex malt-forward IPA with a layering of hops that finish with earth, pine, citrus, and grapefruit aromas. This beer pours really well with a dark coppery hue that radiated around the glass and topped off with plenty of lively foam. Loads of soapy lacing coated the back of my pint glass as it was quite extensive and layered. Lots of orange blossom, citrus, caramel malts, and metallic copper in the nose as the taste burst forth with these flavors. Some pine, deep floral notes, and darker malts came through in the taste once this warmed up, but this was such a smooth sipper and went down easy that I couldn't help but be surprised throughout this whole time drinking it. I don't know about the booze presence, but it's in here, and it's hard to pinpoint given that this was probably stronger than I thought it was. Regardless, this was an IPA that would easily win people over and had more than enough going for it. It's not on par with the best from either coast, but it's a legit player and fun to drink. So Folklore is from South Alabama, so I can get a little bit of this stuff where I live in North Alabama. But if you can find it, you gotta try this. They make some good stuff. It's a good brewery. But overall, I'm gonna give Snipe Hunt IPA from Folklore Brewery and Meadery 4 stars. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Brews with Brian. I want to thank everybody for listening. The show continues to grow each and every week, so once again, thank you. You can find the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify, so don't forget to like and share and tell your friends, especially if they enjoy drinking craft beer. I want to give a special shout out to Southern Package, my hometown craft beer shop where I buy all of my craft beer. If you live in Northwest Alabama, you got to give them a shot. They're great people that treat you right, and you will not be disappointed. But on today's show, I reviewed T- from Yellowhammer Brewing, Cave City Lager from Old Black Bear Brewing, and Snipe Hunt IPA from Folklore Brewing. But that's going to do it for this week's episode, and we'll see you next time.